The whole thing in this journey is just to kind of look for those breaking points that you need to take on. Look for a fast route, going through them. So if your first, goal is to, let's say, make 100K, look for a fastest way to see some kind of dashboard or some kind of outcome that's something someone gets for 100K for your job or your, something that you do. I really wanted to launch like one product to test that sound like a great one on paper. But then we had this one that was already spending money, that was already doing like 600 700 a day, and then my brain was like, yeah, but I mean, we're doing this 600 700 a day for like a few weeks. Imagine like this new one, it could do like 5 times that, and in just a matter of a week, just run it, just give it a shot. I definitely had like at least probably 3 4 5 months. I got dragged myself into those kind of like losing focus type of moments, and nothing got improved. And I'm like, after those 5 months, I'm sitting at my desk thinking like, where did I lose my 5 months?
Basically like a water container, right? But a need could be even as simple as like somebody that really cares about the aesthetics of their work area, of their house, right? Like you don't want just like a plastic weird looking container, like maybe just a really well designed, clean like water container, like that fulfills a need for someone that cares about that. That's a really interesting framework, man.
If I'm looking at it as an example, whenever I buy something for my desk, I'm kind of feeling, first like few days, like first, maybe even few weeks, I'm feeling, kind of more motivated to do my job. I recently bought this new keyboard and I'm like, oh, that's, way more exciting to work. So, if you find those little, touch points that you can, run your creatives on, sell your product on, I guess those are, the key ones. Just because, like, if you would say, you need this keyboard because, like, it has, some cool design and some cool features, I'd say, okay, that's nice. But then, it will go for $300. And, this month I'm going to spend my $300 on, some random shit, but not the keyboard. But then if you would say, imagine your first few weeks after you get this new keyboard that looks, crazy on your desk, I'd say, okay. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, in those few weeks, it might be that I'll just earn more than 300 just for, feeling a bit more motivated.
Yeah.
So yeah, those kind of touch points. That's why people actually buy.
I think like a lot of people will go over this, like this will go over their heads. But I think this is like so fundamental and important for people to like, it's always the mindset things, man, like that like really make the biggest difference. I find it's not like the tactics, like, specifically,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
literally this like fundamental idea. So I love it. Now let me ask
Yeah,
you
because
a
like,
little bit different. Actually, sorry, continue, and then I'll ask you.
yeah, just that last idea I wanted to give is like, yeah, that's totally the mindset. Because like, when I'm thinking about my whole journey, and like, well, when you ask me like, what's the difference between like, just starting out like doing drop shipping to like, scaling up those brands, I'd say the main difference is that like I get to see like dashboards doing like 2 mil a month, 5 mil a month, ad managers spending like crazy amounts of money on just, on a daily basis on just casual, ads that you make. And then the moment you see that, something clicks in your mind, and then you get to believe that it's possible. I'd say that that's, the true, like, I'd say like that's the experience itself. Just because like, you get to experience that kind of scale that you're dreaming, and that's I guess where you just kind of get confident about the whole thing you do, and then you just scale up from there. And I guess the whole thing in this journey is just to kind of look for those breaking points that you need to take on, and then look for a fast route of going through them. So if your first goal is to, let's say, make 100K, look for a fastest way to see some kind of dashboard or some kind of like outcome that's something someone gets for 100K for your job, for your something that you do. And I guess that's where the next goal comes in, the next goal comes in, and then you'll just keep on growing. So
Real quick, if you appreciate these clips and interviews that I put forward for you, then please make sure you use our Shopify link in the description to start your own Shopify business with an exclusive deal. And also make sure you check out akemulab.com for additional resources, free tools, guides, and just a lot of interesting stuff that will help your journey, even some software deals that are exclusive to akemulab.com. So make sure you do that and continue watching the video.
So yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that's super beneficial. I think people... that's why, like, for example, learning these skills like media buying is really powerful, because like a lot of people will hire you to run their ads if you price yourself like competitively, and then you'll get a ton of experience, which is amazing. Now let me ask you this though. I'm really curious because you're obviously a person that, like, you're very methodical, you have this like first principles type of mindset, like just simplistic. How do you feel about lack of focus, right? Because that's one thing that I don't necessarily, I mean, I do struggle with this. I'm always coming up with new ideas, but I've still been able to make it work. Like, I'm doing fine. But I'm just curious what you think, because obviously a lot of entrepreneurs would argue that by doing, let's say, an agency and a brand, like, that's two different things, right? So you can't focus entirely on one. How do you navigate the lack of focus? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I mean, lack of focus usually, like, I'm trying to catch myself in my own head. And whenever I think of something I want to do, and then my brains, and then I'm saying no, I don't want to do that, and then my brain starts to kind of talking myself into doing that stuff. Then I know that that's where I'm losing my focus. Just because, like, as an example, recently, I really wanted to launch like one product to test that sound like a great one on paper, and but then we had this one that was already spending money, that was already doing like 600 700 a day, and then my brain was like, yeah, but I mean, we're doing this 700 a day for like a few weeks. Imagine like this new one, it could do like 5 times that in just a matter of a week. Just run it, just give it a shot. And then that's the moment where I kind of knew that's where I'm losing my focus. So I'm just kind of trying to stay out of that. Actually, that's pretty tough one, especially when you're running agency and running brands at the same time. Just because, like, agency is pretty clients heavy type of business, where every time you just talk to the new one, new potential one, you get to see like a ton of ad accounts, a ton of ideas are constantly around you. So that's a tough one. And then at the same time, with your brands, you're constantly thinking about like new creative, new like product, new product to test, and complete different niche, and the way you expand, and stuff like that. So I guess, like, I guess when you're having those two, agency and the brand, that's nearly impossible to not to lose focus. You'll still lose that somehow. But I'd say catching yourself at the moment where when your brain starts to kind of talk to you into that idea is really important. And then you just kind of put everything you have on the table, and then consider like why you should do that. Because sometimes that might be beneficial, sometimes that might be you're just losing focus for a sake of losing focus. So
True.
so yeah, I guess there's no right answer. It's just you just
It's a daily
gotta,
battle for everybody,
yeah,
really.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really important one. I mean, if you're losing that battle, you might get dragged onto some bad stuff. And I mean, I definitely had like at least probably 3, 4, 5 months when I'm just I got dragged myself into those kind of like losing focus type of moments, and nothing got improved. And I'm like, after those 5 months, I'm sitting at my desk and thinking like, where did I lose my 5 months? So yeah, it's really burning you time, even if you think you're actually getting something valuable out of that.